this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we're doing geometry and we're going to do my second lesson on congruence. Today we're going to focus on congruence tests. So hopefully you've already looked at my lesson on the introduction to congruence because we'll be using some of those labeling skills today. But for congruence tests, there are 4 tests that we need to look at today. There are 4 tests that can be used to determine if triangles are congruent. So these are the 4 tests. Number 1 is what we call SSS. S stands for side. It means that 3 sides in the first triangle are equal to 3 sides in the second triangle. Our second test is SAS. S stands for side again, and A stands for angle. So that is when you have 2 sides and the included angle are equal in both triangles. Now, it's not just 2 sides and any one angle. An included angle is the angle between the 2 sides. So if it was this side, that's my triangle. If that side and that side were the 2 angles that I was using, it has to be the angle in between them. So that angle there is called the included angle. So if you had 2 triangles with that, then you might use the test SAS. The third test is AAS, A for angles, S for sides. So any 2 angles and 1 side are equal in both triangles. And the last test looks a little bit different. We have 2 new letters in here, RHS. S is for side, R is for right angle, and H is for hypotenuse. So each triangle has a right angle and a hypotenuse and another side that are equal. So eventually what you're going to do with congruence is you're going to have to do proofs. Now we're not doing proofs today. All we are wanting to learn at this stage is how to identify which test shows that these triangles are congruent. So looking at my examples here, it just says state the test that could be used to show that the following triangles are congruent. So I just need to state which one of these 4. So in this one, I have a side and an angle. But that angle, which is in both of them, okay, that angle is a right angle. So whenever you have a right angle, it's always tempting to look at this one here, but you have to make sure that you have the hypotenuse and another side. So I have a right angle. Across from the right angle in both of them is the 11. And I have another side in both of them that is 9. So that is a case where RHS, right angle, hypotenuse, and side, would show that those 2 triangles are congruent. Let's look at B and see if we can work out what test to use. We have 9 centimeters and 9 centimeters, 10 and 10, and 84 degrees. Now there is 2 sides and an angle, and the good news is that 84 is what we call the included angle. It's between the 2 arms that we have for the 9 and the 10 and the 9 and the 10, and the 84 is between them. So that is an example of SAS, side, angle, side. 2 sides and the included angle. Okay, question 2 says, show that triangle JKL is congruent to triangle MNO and hence find the length of KL. Well, JKL is congruent to MNO, my 2 triangles that are here. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to write our congruence statement again. So triangle JKL is congruent to triangle MNO, that's what was up here, but I want to put after it, in brackets, the test that shows it, the test that proves it. So 67 degrees and 67 degrees, got that in both triangles, and 78 is in both of them. And I have a few other numbers here, but the important thing is that I have an 11 in both of them. So this one had a few extras that aren't actually very helpful, but I do have 2 angles and 1 side that are equal in both triangles. That is given to me. These ones would have to be equal too, but they're just not told to me. So the test I would use would be AAS. Okay, so once we can justify why our triangles are congruent, then we know that these two triangles must be exactly the same shape and size. So if I want to find the length of KL, now KL, using the letters here, KL is this side here. KL is the side that is across from the 67 degrees. So if I go to this triangle, these triangles must be exactly the same, remember? So if I go across from the 67 degrees, I get 14 centimeters. So that means that this one must also be 14 centimeters. So I can say, therefore, KL is equal to 14 centimeters. Okay, so our reason we can say that is because they are matching sides of congruent triangles. Okay, that's it. That's all we're doing today. That's what I want you to learn today. Find using our tests and using that to make a little deduction here like we did in question 2. So I just want you to try that now. Some questions for you to practice. Okay, so here's just 2 questions just for you to have a practice of what we've just done. Pause the video and give them a go and restart to see the answer. So question 1, state the test that would be used to prove that the following triangles are congruent. Well, we have 2 meters and 2 meters in both triangles, 7 and 7 and 8 and 8. So all 3 sides match. So that means that we could use SSS to prove those triangles are congruent. Okay, so that's it for number 1. Number 2, show that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEC and hence find the length of AB. Okay, well, first of all, let's start with our congruence statement. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEC, and now we need to know the test, the reason why. Well, those dots mean that those angles are the same, and those lines mean that we have a side the same. Now the 3.4 and the 7.1, we don't have anything that matches those, but we do have some parallel sides here. So see the arrows, meaning that one there is parallel to that one there. That means that I could use alternate angles, saying that this angle here, that angle, would be equal to that angle. Okay, the Z shape on the alternate angles. So that would mean that I've got angle, angle, and a side. So I could use AAS to show that those 2 triangles are congruent. Now we want to find the length of AB. So AB is my long one in this triangle across from the dot. So across from the dot, we have 7.1 meters. So AB, because they're congruent, AB is also going to be equal to 7.1 meters. And we write our reason, matching sides of congruent triangles. And so that one was a little bit tricky with the parallel sides coming in there. So I hope you saw that one, that you got that question right. Keep practicing. This is the last lesson of new work on geometry. Next lesson we're going to have some revision time. So join me then. Bye.